The police said my fingerprints were on the murder weapon, my garage was the crime scene, and the dead man was someone the whole town trusted. I knew one thing for sure: I didn't kill him. But in a small town like Ridgway Falls, evidence speaks louder than truth, and by the time I realized someone had written my name into their crime, it was already too late to run. The first time I saw my own name written on a murder report, I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain refused to accept it. It felt like looking at someone else's life through dirty glass. The paper trembled slightly in my hands as the detective slid it across the metal table toward me. Suspect, Lily Monroe, age 34, occupation, grocery store manager, relationship to victim, known acquaintance, read it carefully. He said, "This isn't a mistake." Cold spread through my chest, slow and heavy. In Ridgway Falls, mistakes didn't last long. Everyone knew everyone. Truth had a way of surfacing whether you liked it or not, or at least, that's what I used to believe before a dead man ended up in my garage. Ridgway Falls looks harmless. Tree-lined streets, white porches, a river that cuts through town like a lazy vein. People move here to feel safe. I was born here because my mother never figured out how to leave. I stayed because I thought safety meant predictability. Same routines, same faces, same rules. I was wrong. The victim's name was Aaron Pike, 30, 9, married, 1 kid. He coached Little League and fixed cars out of his garage on weekends. Everyone liked Aaron. Everyone trusted him, and according to the police, I killed him sometime between 9:00 and 11:00 p.m. on a Tuesday night. They found him wrapped in plastic behind my trash cans. I didn't scream when they told me. I didn't cry either. My mind immediately started flipping through the night like security footage. I remembered closing the store late, locking the door, driving home alone, heating leftovers, falling asleep on the couch with the TV still on. Ordinary, boring, no blood, no violence, no murder, but there were photos. His blood on the concrete floor of my garage. A hammer from my toolbox with his skull fragments on it. My fingerprints everywhere. "You want to explain that?" Detective Ross asked. I opened my mouth and nothing came out, because how do you explain evidence that tells a story you never lived? They didn't arrest me right away. In Ridgway Falls, arrests are handled carefully. Quietly, the sheriff didn't want panic, or lawsuits, or attention. Instead, they let me go home and told me not to leave town. Like I could even think about leaving when every street suddenly felt like it was watching me. By morning, the town knew. People stared at me in the grocery store like I was contagious. Parents pulled their kids closer when I walked by. Someone scratched murderer into my car door while I was at work. My boss didn't say anything, just handed me an envelope and told me to take time off until things settled. Things don't settle after a murder, they rot. I kept asking myself the same question: why Aaron? We weren't close. We'd talked a few times. He'd helped me jump my car once. Fixed my garage door when it jammed. Normal neighbor stuff. Nothing that ends with a crushed skull. The police said motive wasn't always emotional. Sometimes it was money, sometimes jealousy, sometimes people just snapped, but I hadn't snapped. The first real crack in the case came from something small, a smell, gasoline. I noticed it in my garage days after the murder, sharp and faint, like it didn't belong there. Someone had tried to clean the floor, poorly, which meant they'd been in my garage long enough to get comfortable. Someone with a key. Only 3 people had one, me, my sister, and Aaron. That realization hit me so hard I had to sit down. Aaron had access to my garage. I started digging, not like the police, like someone who had nothing left to lose. I went through old texts, voicemails, receipts, anything that tied Aaron's life to mine beyond coincidence. That's when I found the bank alert, a withdrawal I didn't recognize, $2,000, cash, taken out the morning after the murder. I hadn't done it, but Aaron had gambling debts. Everyone knew he played cards at Tommy's bar after hours. What no one talked about was how much he owed or to whom. I went to Tommy's bar late one night, the kind of place where the lights are always dim enough to hide bad decisions. People stopped talking when I walked in. Tommy didn't. He just wiped the counter and told me to leave. He was scared. Tommy said finally. Aaron was scared. Of what? Of someone finding out he was stealing. That word stuck with me, stealing. Aaron had access to a lot of garages, a lot of homes. People trusted him. He fixed things. He borrowed tools. He knew who wasn't home. And then there was the insurance policy. Aaron had taken out a life insurance policy 6 months before he died. Beneficiary, his wife, but the policy had been recently updated. A second beneficiary added quietly, me. I didn't even know it was possible until Detective Ross showed me the paperwork. My forged signature stared back at me from the page. Clean, confident, convincing. That's when I understood the shape of it. Aaron wasn't killed in my garage by accident. He was killed because he planned it that way. He'd been stealing, skimming money, running small scams, and he needed a way out, a way for his family to be taken care of. He faked documents, set up the policy, and planned to disappear. But something went wrong. He didn't plan on someone else wanting him dead first. The real killer wasn't me, and it wasn't random. It was his wife. Megan Pike cried perfectly at the vigil, shaking shoulders, red eyes. Everyone gathered around her, protective and gentle. No one noticed how steady her hands were. I confronted her in her kitchen, the house still smelling like sympathy casseroles. I told her I knew about the policy, about the debts, about the setup. She didn't deny it. He was going to leave us, she said quietly. Take the money, blame you. He told me everything. I just finished it. She'd killed him in my garage using my tools, cleaned up, wrapped the body, left it where it would be found, and waited. I recorded her confession the same way she'd recorded my life falling apart calmly, methodically, without emotion. When the police arrested her, the town gasped like it had been fooled by a magic trick. They apologized to me again, softly, like that fixed anything. Now, when I walk through Ridgeway Falls, people wave again, smile again, pretend they didn't imagine me in handcuffs, but I know something they don't. In a small town, innocence isn't about truth. It's about who tells the better story first. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.